Hey travelers, here today to save you from the chaos of packing for your family vacation. Let's take these 5 super common mistakes and talk about quick fixes for each of them to help you make packing less chaotic for your family. I've been there, I've done that, I've made the mistakes, and here are the super simple quick fixes that you can make too. First up, stop trying to get all of your packing done in one day. I get it. I'm a total procrastinator, and sometimes that adrenaline rush will absolutely make things happen at the last minute, but you are much more likely to forget something. So here's the quick fix to procrastinating packing. What you're gonna wanna do is find a little nook or cranny in your house. It could be the corner of your bedroom, it could be an area in the living room where nothing gets touched, and take your suitcase out completely zipped up and just put it there. Just stand it there in the corner. You're going to make that your little packing nook. So every time that you find a piece of clothing that you want to take on the trip with you, every time a snack comes in the grocery delivery that you're going to bring with you, when a load of laundry gets done, or when that Amazon package with the new swim goggles comes through, you can go ahead and put it in that pile. You're not going to unzip that suitcase every single time. You're just going to put things on a pile there, and every 2 or 3 days, once a week, depending on how early you get started, you can go ahead and unzip the suitcase and throw those things in there and zip it back up so that area stays neat and tidy, but you have not tasked yourself with having to organize it all, put it into packing cubes, and figure things out. So when you get started, or when that procrastination hits at the last minute, you've already got a head start on what you're doing, and you don't need to go ahead and drive yourself crazy finding every little thing that you need to pack. Mistake number 2, stop trying to do this without a list. I know. I've done it, and I've completely forgotten entire categories of clothing, like any t-shirts for our camping trip. So don't make this mistake and make yourself a list. It does not have to be a perfect or a complete list, but get thoughts down on paper so they are out of your head onto paper and you don't have to carry them around with you, making you crazy the entire time. This list is going to save you time and energy in the long run, even if you have to take an hour to sit down and list out what people are going to need, what the little things that you want to put in your backpack carry-on are versus what's going to go into the bigger suitcases. You can break this down and categorize it however you want to. Those are some ways that are helpful for me. I usually categorize what I need, what my daughter needs, what's going to go in our carry-ons, all the way down to what medication I'm packing that I need to take so that I'm not going to forget them that day. Pro tip, if you're traveling more than once a year, think about getting yourself a set of travel chargers or even travel toiletries. I actually have sets of each of those things, and they stay in the suitcases, they stay packed, and I don't have to go find them for every single trip. So I've got an adapter for my phone, I have all of the different charging cables I could possibly need for all of the gear that we have, and then I've got my toiletries packed with travel size toothpastes, our travel toothbrushes, shampoos and conditioners, things like that we might need, a first aid kit, and I never have to unpack that, and then I never have to find it. Mistake number 3, you're trying to do it all yourself. Stop doing everything for everyone. Now, in the short term, this might seem like more work than it's worth, but I promise you, in the long run, it's absolutely worth it to let your kids start help packing young. So whether you have a 2-year-old or a 10-year-old, helping them see what's on their list and letting them go get something and bring it back to you is not only showing them the responsibility of packing for themselves, it's teaching them the life skill of packing. And if you're an overwhelmed adult that is watching this video and trying to get packing tips, imagine if you had gotten some tips as a little kid and been able to build on that with every family trip. So you can tell a 3-year-old to go grab some overnight diapers. You can tell a 5-year-old to go grab 5 pairs of underwear. You can tell a 10-year-old that they need to grab 4 shirts and 4 pairs of shorts. Whatever it is that's on their list that you think they're capable of getting, go ahead and have them grab that for you. And while you're still going to need to pack it for them, especially in the early stages and when they're just getting started learning this, eventually they will be able to take a list from you and pack themselves, and you will have their gratitude forever because you have taught them the life skill of packing, and it's super important that they know how to do that in the future. It's also a great time for them to learn that what they pack matters. So if they want to bring their rock collection, that's going to be heavy and maybe not the best decision, but they might want to pick out a favorite stuffed animal to bring. And we've always had a rule that what you pack, you carry. So if your backpack is heavy, you learn that lesson early on, and you have your little roller suitcase, and it really gives kids a sense of ownership and pride in what they're doing. And they honestly are much more helpful when they pack themselves. Mistake number 4, you're waiting until you have everything packed to see if it's all gonna fit where it's going. Determine how much space you have first and then pack accordingly. So if everything has to fit in the trunk of the car, or you're packing carry-on only and you need it to all fit into overhead bins on the plane, or you're going to check luggage, determine the size of the containers that you have for packing into before you start packing. There's a good chance that you could pack a lot less than you're going to end up packing, but if you take out your biggest suitcase and biggest duffel bags, you're gonna feel like you have all of that space to fill, and you're probably gonna end up carrying a lot more junk than you actually need to bring with you. Bottom line, the more space you allow yourself, the more unnecessary things you're gonna bring. One of the best pieces of advice that I ever got was to pack outfits, not options. Figure out what you need ahead of time, pack it, and don't throw in a bunch of extra unnecessary stuff just to fill up the space you have. That's why I suggest starting small with space and then filling it. Mistake number 5, stop packing more than you need. This kind of ties into what I just said, but overpacking is a real thing. And it took some things like losing luggage or taking on way too much and overwhelming myself to realize how little I could get by on vacation. Kids do not need a suitcase full of toys. They can and will play with anything. The seatbelt buckle on an airplane is going to be just as interesting as the dollar store toys that you brought with you. So don't feel like you have to bring that kind of stuff. You can absolutely find things as you go. You can play with a paper cup in the sand on the beach. It doesn't have to be sand toys that you lug with you and then have to lug home with you. Vacation is a fantastic time for reading, but you can absolutely put those books on a Kindle and not bring 3 hardcovers with you. Shoes take up a ton of room. You do not need 3 pairs of dress shoes. If you want to bring one nicer pair that's going to work with multiple outfits, that will be much better than bringing 4 different pairs and not wearing any of them. Pro tip, make sure you pack comfortable shoes because we tend to walk more on vacations than you would think you do. So pack smart, not heavy. So there you have it, 5 quick fixes you can make to your packing routine to hopefully have less stress and less mess on your family vacation. Remember, it's just about being practical, a little more organized, and involving the whole family and taking that mental and physical load off of yourself. If you found these tips helpful and you want more information on traveling with kids, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and get those notifications by hitting that bell. Share it with your fellow travel-weary parents or your spouse. And if you want to hear more about the mistakes that I've learned from, you can go ahead and check out this video about one of my epic travel failures and have a good laugh at my expense. Stay safe and have fun out there. See you guys next time.